He told millions to love their 9-to-5s. Now, he's begging for money on TikTok Live, while lying about still working a normal job. This is the influencer who built an empire by normalizing the norm, but the truth behind his fake office, manipulated timestamps, and galaxy begging live streams is finally out, and it's uglier than anyone expected. Would you keep supporting a creator who secretly lied about their entire career just to look more relatable? Comment below. Is it ever okay to fake your lifestyle for content? If you've ever followed someone for being genuinely real, this video will make your jaw drop. So subscribe and tap the bell now so you don't miss how deep this rabbit hole goes. What if the job you see someone doing every day doesn't actually exist? That's exactly what happened with Hubslife.
And in the case of Hubslife, the shared value was really, you can be happy and successful and fulfilled working a 9-to-5 job.
After years of building a brand around his insurance desk job, he quit quietly. He kept pretending like he still worked there. He filmed videos in a rented office, maintained his routine content, and never once disclosed that he'd left the very lifestyle he preached. He even fooled fans into thinking he'd simply switch companies, carefully crafting first day at new job posts that showed a desk, commute, and casual office clothes, but never, not once, named the company or job title, because there wasn't one. He faked an entire work life just to keep the content flowing. The implications are massive. Hub wasn't just documenting his life, he was staging it. The desk wasn't real. The job wasn't real. The timestamps didn't match. He was creating fiction, not lifestyle advice. If your audience follows you for your reality, don't give them a performance. Authenticity isn't optional, it's the contract. He didn't just build a brand, he built a movement. Normalize the norm wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was an identity. Hubslife inspired millions by turning the 9-to-5 grind into something to be proud of. He made stability aspirational. His calm morning routines, coffee breaks, and slow laptop zips into a backpack gave comfort to everyday workers who were sick of hustle culture. He reminded people that you didn't have to become a millionaire entrepreneur to be happy, and thousands joined in, creating their own normal job TikToks and rallying around his content like it was a digital safe space for the undercelebrated. Then, just like that, he left. Without warning, he quit the job. He faked a new one. He staged videos to look like he was still in the club. And by doing so, he didn't just lie. He fractured the trust of the very movement he claimed to lead. If you start a movement, you carry a responsibility. Betraying your values isn't just hypocritical.
He built the entire following based on this enemy, and then all of a sudden he becomes the enemy. He becomes the influencer. He becomes the guy who's, posting about brands or trying to start his own brand. He's not working a 9-to-5 job enough because it wasn't what would fulfill him.
It breaks the bond your audience believed in. It didn't all fall apart at once. It unraveled, one manipulated moment at a time. Hubslife didn't simply wake up one day and quit. He drip-fed his audience a storyline that made it seem like nothing had changed. His farewell post hinted at burnout, but reassured followers he was moving to a new kind of 9-to-5. He even filmed fake commute vlogs, fake first-day routines, and kept up the illusion of being one of them, a desk job worker. For weeks, people were fooled. Some even said, if he's quitting, I'll quit too.
If you're somebody who is in corporate and you say things like, I love my job, I would never leave my job, I want you to think to yourself this. I call it the Saturday morning test. Do you love your job so much that you would get out of bed on a Saturday morning with energy and vigor and excitement to continue working on your job?
But the longer he stayed vague, the more cracks appeared. No details, no job name, no LinkedIn update, just motivational quotes, cold plunges, and wide shots of a staged office. He wasn't transitioning, he was deceiving. When trust is your brand, vagueness is a red flag. Say what you mean or risk being exposed. Routine builds character, he wrote, over footage of a morning routine that never happened. Fans zoomed in. He claimed he woke up at 5:00 a.m., but the timestamps read 9:22. He walked into Chipotle at 10:16, but the store doesn't even open until 10:45. His morning ice baths and gym sessions were filmed under full daylight, despite captions saying 6:03 a.m. Everything from the lighting to the shadows screamed fabrication. He wasn't just misleading people, he was curating a fantasy. Why? Because hustle content sells. Because pretending to grind makes you look more disciplined. Because faking early wake-ups makes you seem elite. But elite content with fake roots rots fast. Hustle culture thrives on credibility. And when your grind is staged, your brand crumbles. It started with whispers, then snowballed into a full-blown credibility crisis. Fans began noticing inconsistencies. The new job he teased never had a name. The office looked suspiciously like a WeWork. Timestamps didn't align, and the once regular updates turned cryptic, vague, overly polished. Viewers asked questions. He dodged them. The office disappeared from his content entirely after people began speculating he had rented it purely as a set. He had created a brand that thrived on being boring but honest. The moment that honesty slipped, even the boring didn't feel real anymore. And worse, it proved what critics feared most. He had been lying through omission.
It's so bold to assume that people have bonded with you so much that they will watch your content no matter what it's about. The immediate ick that everybody has from watching it, from seeing the lives with the galaxy. I'm like legitimately, like I've been thinking about him while I am at my normal job. Like, how's that guy gonna be okay? My guy, they didn't love you. They loved the content that you make. You know? How did he not get that?
Loyalty doesn't survive silence. It collapses under unanswered questions. The shift wasn't just ironic. It was betrayal in plain sight. He built his image on why you shouldn't chase influencer life. He preached stability, health insurance, structure, and using your 9-to-5 to fuel your passions. He said, more than once, that he tried being a videographer and hated it, that he found peace in the ordinary, that he'd never go back to that hustle. Then suddenly he did. Sponsored posts, midday gym trips, branded content pipelines, and not just casually, he fully immersed himself in the creator lifestyle, all while pretending to still be a 9-to-5 guy. This wasn't a pivot, it was a total inversion of everything he claimed to stand for. When your entire brand is built on "I'm not like them," becoming them makes you worse than a hypocrite. It makes you a fraud. No one expected the downfall to hit live, but it did. During a TikTok live stream, he told viewers he wouldn't answer questions unless they sent him a galaxy, one of TikTok's priciest gifts.
You gotta send a galaxy, bro. I gotta get a galaxy, guys. If I send me something, man. It's how I make it a living. I don't know if I saw a galaxy come through, man. I can't answer any of these. You gotta send me a galaxy, bro. Sam, thank you for the first gift. Roses on deck. I don't know. I think roses are like not a galaxy.
Roses weren't enough. He dismissed smaller supporters and demanded more. Viewers were stunned.
God, I want to answer all these questions, but I really can't right now. Sam, where's the galaxy, bro? I'll answer like 10 questions if you send a galaxy. You gotta send me a galaxy or something. This is a lot more lucrative and I get to work from anywhere in the world. Make money from my telephone. There any investments other than 401k? You gotta send me a galaxy and I'll answer that. That's the internet for you, though. No one wants to see you doing better than them, right? I'm just a regular chill dude. Zach, I'm not begging for money, bro, but this is how I earn my living, so any little bit helps, man.
This wasn't the humble office worker who once said, "You're doing just fine." This was a man putting a paywall on his personality. Then came the twist. When backlash erupted, he claimed retroactively that the money was for flood victims. Yet, not once during the live did he mention that cause. The timing was suspect, the excuse worse.
I gotta get a galaxy, guys, if you wanted me to answer the tough questions. I know that sounds like greedy and stuff, but again, this is how I'm making my living now, guys.
You can't shout charity after the money's already in your pocket. The most devastating part, his followers felt like they lost a friend. They didn't follow him because he was glamorous. They followed him because he wasn't. His daily routines, small joys, and grounded mindset gave dignity to the overlooked. For once, someone on social media celebrated the ordinary. He was their mirror in a sea of influencers flaunting yachts and private jets. And then, slowly, the mirror cracked. They watched in real time as the man who said, "Your job is enough," decided his wasn't. Who said, "Don't chase clout," and then did just that. Who once gave hope and then cashed it in.
Now that he's not working as a corporate America worker, his followers are pissed because they appreciated his content before of being just like everyone else. And they're saying he's out of touch, he's losing his relatability, and people are not happy that he left.
Trust isn't taken, it's given. And once lost, it rarely comes back. His brand worked because he picked a villain and convinced people he was the opposite, the enemy, hustle culture. The toxic idea that you're worthless unless you wake up at 4 a.m., build 6 businesses, and quit your job by 22. He positioned himself as the antidote, the quiet worker, the everyman, and people rallied behind that. They found identity in resisting hustle culture together, but then he switched sides. Ice baths, branded deadlines, influencer schedules, phrases like content pipeline and 3% CTR replaced the relatable moments that made him popular. The guy who once told people to stop chasing clout became another cog in the content machine. If your brand survives by standing against something, becoming it is career suicide. If this breakdown has shocked you so far, subscribe right now. We expose influencer contradictions and pull back the curtain every single week. What happens when someone starts believing they are the product? He used to film spreadsheets. Now he posts text messages from a manager calling him a superstar. He used to talk about 401ks and lunch breaks. Now it's gym selfies, aesthetic coffee pours, and curated brand deliverables. At some point, he stopped creating content for the audience and started creating it for himself. He thought people were watching because he was interesting, but they weren't. They were watching because he reflected their lives back to them. When the mirror turned into a spotlight, the connection broke. The moment a creator forgets their audience is the moment the audience forgets them. At first, it looked like a career shift. Then it started to feel like a con. The content stopped being about life and started being about ads. Every routine ended with a promo. Every story came with a discount code. His feed transformed into a scroll of sponsored concepts, marketing jargon, and brand deadlines. He even showed his Asana board, packed not with creative ideas, but deliverables and CTR targets. This wasn't just a rebrand, it was a full sellout, and not the kind people cheer for. His followers didn't mind him getting paid, but they did mind becoming pawns in a sales funnel they never signed up for. There's a fine line between making a living and milking your audience. When called out, he pivoted to a new narrative. I did this to be a more present father, but the footage didn't match. Day after day, he filmed gym sessions, errands, coffee runs, rarely, if ever, with his child. There were no strollers, diaper bags, or tired-eyed parenting confessions, just iced lattes and cold plunges. The kind of solo freedom real stay-at-home parents don't have. People who actually parent full-time noticed immediately. The comment section filled with confusion. Where's the kid? Who's watching them? Why does your life look more free now than it ever did before? If you use fatherhood as a shield, make sure your content doesn't expose the lie. The scariest part isn't that he changed. It's that he may have never believed in what he preached. For years, he insisted the 9-to-5 life was his passion. He posted affirmations about structure and stability, discouraged others from chasing influencer dreams, and claimed he'd already tried and hated that lifestyle. But now, in hindsight, the signs were always there. He idolized Gary Vee. He had previously quit a job to become a videographer. He said the dream died, but maybe it never did. It's possible he was always just waiting for a way out, and once he had enough followers to fund the jump, he took it, without warning and without honesty. When your origin story is fake, everything that follows falls apart. He stood out because he didn't try to. There are thousands of influencers, hundreds of day in my life videos, but Hubslife cut through the noise by being boring on purpose. He offered something radical in its simplicity, that a regular job, a packed lunch, and a quiet routine could still be fulfilling. That message mattered. It gave dignity to millions who felt invisible in the age of personal brands. Now he's just another face in the scroll, the same morning routine edits, the same gym, coffee, brand deal format, the same unrelatable content from someone who once swore he'd never go this route. He didn't just change his content, he abandoned the only thing that made it worth watching. He once said his job was insurance, but the real job, selling his audience. Behind the relatable facade was a highly monetized machine. Brands weren't just working with him, they were working through him. Every caption, every video, every aesthetic morning had one goal: to warm up the audience for a pitch. He wasn't just sharing his life, he was turning routine into ROI. That might have worked if he'd been honest about it, but instead, he maintained the illusion of just a regular guy while using that trust to quietly cash in. And when fans realized it, they weren't just disappointed, they were furious. When you monetize relatability, it only works if it's real. The moment he turned off comments, people knew something was wrong. This wasn't just a minor misstep or creative pivot, it was a cover-up. For a creator whose entire brand was based on open vulnerability, shutting down the conversation felt like a confession. Questions piled up. What happened to The Office? Why the fake timestamps? Why the brand jargon? Why the sudden silence? No answers came, just curated posts and vague captions. And in that vacuum, the audience started filling in the blanks for themselves. And none of the stories ended well for him. Silence isn't damage control, it's gasoline on suspicion. This story isn't unique. That's what makes it worse. Plenty of creators pivot, plenty grow out of their niche. But the difference here is that he sold values, not just vlogs. When your brand is built on don't chase clout, and then you do exactly that, your audience doesn't see reinvention. They see betrayal. It's a lesson for any creator building a brand around being one of us. The second you leave that identity without explanation, or worse, fake it to hold on to followers, your content stops being inspiration and starts being manipulation. Audiences forgive change. They don't forgive deceit. Short answer? No. Even if he returned to his old office, clocked in on camera, and started vlogging coffee breaks again, it wouldn't matter. The illusion is gone. The trust is broken. And worse, he taught people not to believe him twice. Because now every routine looks staged. Every morning timestamp, every campaign, every quote feels calculated. He crossed the invisible line between relatable and rehearsed, and once that line is gone, there's no crossing back. You can pivot your content, you can't pivot your character. In the end, this was never just about a job. It was about trust. Hubslife didn't fall because he became a content creator. He fell because he pretended not to. Because he built a brand on honesty, then hid the truth. Because he claimed to be one of us, then treated us like a means to an end. And what he lost wasn't just a niche. He lost the one thing that made people care in the first place. The feeling that someone out there got it. That a normal life could still be a worthy one. People don't need another influencer. They need someone real. And now, they're still waiting. If this breakdown made you think twice about what authenticity really means online, make sure you subscribe for more stories like this. Ones that pull back the curtain on the influencers shaping the internet. This video is for entertainment and commentary purposes only, based on publicly available information. It is not professional advice. Please consult a qualified expert where necessary.